because I said, "Hey, it's time."
I don't think we kicked them out. I think they're just in the living room.
Well, yes, but I sort of rudely said, not rudely, we told them to expect this, that we're going on the air at 2.
On air at 2. And now you're kicking this. You're doing all the kicking today.
Okay.
Doing all the kicking
Hey,
today.
stop kicking.
Second. Oh, and the dogs have joined us so that they can wreak havoc. Isn't that exciting?
Yet to be determined.
Yet to be determined. The havoc is yet to be determined. Yet to be determined havoc. Oh my. I like your shirt. You want to hold it up a little bit? People can see what you're wearing.
I haven't worn this in a long time.
A nice Vitaphone. Nice purple Vitaphone today.
Now, I didn't know that it was purple.
Well, what color do you think it was?
Blue.
But that's not that far off. My dad's colorblind. Fun fact. That's not that far off, at least.
Well, good.
It's not like your green and brown and orange situation.
Yeah.
You can't tell which is which. It's
well,
fun.
Blue purple.
Yeah, but that's okay. How was Daisy's Christmas? Did she score? Well, I'll tell you what. My mother-in-law is here visiting, and she brought all of this beautiful clothing, including gifts from her great-grandmother, who's also back in England. So yes, Daisy got all kinds of adorable little gifts, and we had a really, really nice time.
Most of them clothing.
Yes, much of it clothing, because I don't know what else you get a baby at this moment. She's 2 months old.
Today,
so
she's exactly 2 months today.
She's exactly 2 months old today. So I don't know what else you're supposed to get them. I just got her liquor. Got her some vodka. I figured every kid wants that, right? I know I haven't been a parent very long, but I heard that you're supposed to get babies alcohol. It's Boxing Day and there is no Rocky Marathon. Well, we used to have big Boxing Day parties at our house.
We picked up the baton, friends of ours, to a Boxing Day party.
Yep.
Every year on the 26th, the day after Christmas. And we had such a good time there. And when they left, they moved up to Washington State and suggested that we take over. And we did.
And you did.
And we, gosh, it was a very enjoyable party. And one of the rules of our Boxing Day party, this may not be the same rules that other people play by, was that it had to be a gift you received, not something you purchased. Yes. Something you actually were given during the course of the past year.
Someone who loves you had to have given you something terrible.
Well, again, terrible being a matter
subjective.
Of opinion. Yeah,
yes.
Completely subjective. One man's meat is another man's poison. So,
is that a saying?
It is.
Okay.
Only now you wouldn't say man. One person's meat.
Yeah. One human person's. Yes.
So, and there were a gift could make 3 appearances and then it had to be retired.
Yes.
So there's some white elephant gifts that made the full 3 appearances.
Man, it was really fun because you just didn't know what and the other part, of course, is that people really enjoyed spending time wrapping the gifts.
Oh yeah,
so that they would look really nice. So you'd see like a Tiffany's box or something like that, and inside was I can't even begin to tell you the sort of crap, the random crap. Though there were some years that people put stuff in just for the shock value.
Yeah.
Somebody put in, I don't know if you remember this, a blow-up sex doll. And do you remember who opened it?
No.
Buddy Hackett received the blow-up sex doll. That was a funny year.
That was
I'll
an
tell
occurrence.
You what.
Early on, somebody gave us, I guess, a ceramic coiled snake, like a cobra. And it was about this high, like maybe 18 inches, 20 inches high. And it was regifted.
Yep.
And then regifted. And then one day we came home and it was actually on our living room floor. How it got, we just still don't know how it got.
I like the idea that someone broke in to give something back. Like, how bad is it? We broke in to give it back to you because we didn't want it, which makes perfect sense. A few people are talking about Matrix Resurrections. So I will tell you, I have never seen any of the Matrices. I have not seen any of the Matrixes. You saw the first one.
I saw the first two.
Okay. But probably only once and when they came out.
Yes.
So I don't think you remember much.
I remember him dodging the bullet.
Correct. We've all seen the slow motion bending.
And I remember the most impressive visual effect, that in quotes.
Yeah.
And the second one was the cleverly designed apparatus that held what's her name?
Carrie Ann Moss? Or is it someone else?
No. The beautiful Italian actress.
I don't know who's in the movies. Vasa. Is it Monica Bellucci? I'm just guessing at things.
Yeah.
Monica Bellucci.
The apparatus that held Monica Bellucci's breasts aloft.
Wow.
That was the best visual effect in the film.
You are out of control. So my husband and I watched the new one. My husband is a big fan of the other three, and he actually knew what the hell was going on. And what I will tell you with the new Matrix is, if you don't know the other Matrixes, you can't watch this Matrix because you have no idea what's going on the entire time. And so it's definitely, some things can stand alone. This is not one of them. So I can't really tell you if it was good or bad, because to me, it did nothing. It was just sort of on. And I did watch, but meh. It's
Hugo Weaving in it?
No, a bunch of the originals are not in it. So I'm told, so I read, but yeah, I mean, I did not enjoy it, but as I say, I did not enjoy it because I didn't understand anything that was happening. And at one point they do cut off all of Keanu Reeves's hair and facial hair. And I have to tell you, he actually looks old without all that hair, which was very funny, because normally, obviously, he's quite a young looking fella.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized this is why you need long haired, bearded Keanu. Is Keanu just as like your next door neighbor? Not a good look for him. Just not a good look for him.
Now the news of the week, new movie wise, is Spider-Man.
Yes.
Having earned $1 billion.
Yeah.
At the same time that the Omicron variant is sounding messages of doom and gloom.
Yeah.
And not to be flippant about it, but they're sounding very serious messages about how easy it is to catch, especially if you're older, like me.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter, because Spider-Man has not heard of Omicron, and people went and saw it and loved it. We have not seen it yet. I actually would like to see it.
I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Yeah, I like those Spider-Man movies. I like Tom Holland a lot. But yeah, we haven't seen it yet. Ben is asking, has color blindness been an obstacle in film reviewing?
Yes, occasionally. I see colors. I see a whole palette of colors. My problem, I guess, is
you don't know which is which.
Color identification.
Yeah.
Is, I guess, a more accurate way of describing the issue that I have. And yet it's color blindness officially, because I've taken those visual tests.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because and the brain is a fascinating thing anyway, but you see certain things as the correct color because you know that they are the correct color.
Well, yes. How do I know green light from a red light at a traffic stop?
Yeah.
Because the red light's always on top and the green light is always on the bottom.
But even things like grass.
Yeah.
Grass and trees.
Yes, but when we've driven sometimes to Santa Barbara during a drought.
Well, then, but that's because it's
brown. I know, but Mommy would say, oh, it's all brown.
Yeah.
I'll say, yeah.
Yeah. Jesse's hair is totally blue. No, it's rainbow. It's just up. They're all there. My hair's just up. That's all. There's footage out there from one of your Boxing Day parties where Harlan Ellison, may he rest in peace, being given some Star Trek tie as a gift. Of course, he was very comically horrified. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Harlan. Yes. Harlan was a guest at many Boxing Days.
Several.
And man, yeah, we've got some pretty entertaining friends, and those back in the day were getting them all in one room. Getting certain people in one room was hilarious.
Well, part of the fun is that you open it in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And then you display it to everybody.
Yes, you show everyone what you've gotten.
And then there's the trading and swapping.
Yeah. Some people go, actually, I want to give this to so and so. Can I have that? Can I have that? But to say it was a good time, and I do miss those big parties. Emily's saying, my first time seeing you talk about film, Leonard, was the interviews with George Lucas for the original release of the Star Wars trilogy. Thank you so much for your great contributions to film critique. Well, it's very nice, Emily.
That's lovely. Thank you. Emily, you are not the only one who first encountered me that way. And
many people.
It's an ongoing theme in my life.
Yeah.
When people of a certain age approach me, and I have a feeling I know what they're going to say, and that's usually what they're going to say.
Yeah. The two of the biggest things. One is the Little Rascals VHS sets. That's a big one. A lot of kids will say
that sold millions.
They watched him with Little Rascals, and then a lot of people come up and say, "I watched you with those Star Wars VHS,"
which sold even more millions.
Yeah, and are precious to a lot of people today because they are the only original cuts, I guess.
Unexpurgated.
Yeah. So a lot of people love those for that reason. I read online that Alice Maltin was a script editor for a studio head. What does she think of her time working for the studios? That never happened. I'm intrigued by it.
Where did you? I wonder where you read that.
I wonder where you read that. No, my mom never worked for a studio head, and she's never been a script editor. I did some what's called coverage. I worked at a couple of different places doing coverage, and that's when you read scripts and sort of write little synopses of them and tell your bosses whether or not you think that they're worth passing on to someone much more important.
Yes, you're the entry level.
Yes, yeah. I read them.
You're the gateway.
And my God, were there a lot of terrible scripts. That's what I learned from doing that. There were a lot of god-awful scripts. And the funny part was reading them, and you could almost tell when someone was proud of themselves. I remember there was one so long ago. There was one where there was a violinist who murdered people with violin strings, and the way it was written was like no one had ever thought of this ever. And at the end, I swear you could have seen the smugness of the writer, just like, see what I did there? And all I wanted to do was call him up and say, no, you did nothing. You did absolutely. I had to sit here and read this. You did nothing.
So speaking of Alice Maltin.
Yes.
Alice Maltin, my wife, her mother.
She's a pretty big deal right now, guys.
Was on the front page.
Pretty big deal.
Of the Los Angeles Times
That's
this
right.
past week.
That's right.
Not mentioned in an article inside the paper.
That's right.
No, this article began on the front page. Or as I told a friend of ours of a certain age, just under the fold.
Below the fold, yes, yeah. Yes. Now here's the thing about this. I'm going to pull this up because the story is also online, obviously. Hang on here. The story begins, Alice Maltin got out of her car on Ventura Boulevard in Sherman Oaks with hungry anticipation. Shocked at her luck in finding a primo parking spot, the septuagenarian, why would they have to put in the thing about age? Why? Took a few steps last month toward one of her favorite places and froze. The last Marie Callender's in the San Fernando Valley, where she had come to get Thanksgiving pies, as she did every year, had a thick padlock on the door, closed for good. And this is my favorite bit. This is a quote. There were boards in the windows like they didn't want us sneaking in to get the rest of the pies, Maltin said. So my mother, this Marie Callender's, for those who do not know, is a restaurant for altacockers. If you don't know what that word is, I'll explain. Older folks and me. I was always the only person under about 90 when I was in there. But they're famous for their pies. And different times of year, during the summer, you get their strawberry pie, their peach pie, and
which are outstanding. Giant strawberries,
yeah.
Giant chunks of peach.
And then in the winter months, you would get their pumpkin pie and what have you for the holidays. And Leonard, being a pumpkin pie aficionado, and I am similar but not quite the same, I do love me some good pumpkin pie. We believe that it is the best of the pumpkin pie options. And there were not very many of them left at this point. And there was one near our house. And man, oh man, it closed. So
all the years we lived in Toluca Lake, there was one
yes,
on Riverside Drive in Toluca
very
Lake.
near us.
And they would put out banners when they had the peach pie in
yep.
or the strawberry pie in.
Yep.
And that was an event every year.
It was a big deal. But when we found out, my dad thought it was his duty to let the folks at the LA Times know. So he did some homework and
went
was
online
able to
and
send an email.
I was able to send an email to the city editor. I thought that would be an appropriate person to notify.
Let them know.
And he emailed back right away and said, "Are you the same Leonard Maltin that writes film reviews?" I said, "Yes." And that seemed to buy me and the story some credibility.
Yes.
Some measure of credibility.
Yes.
And
I should add the headline of the piece is "Aborted Up Marie Callender's a sad movie critic and a bah humbug to struggling family dining." So they got back in touch with my dad, wanted to interview my parents, and then they called and said they wanted to come and take some pictures, which initially we were on the phone and they said this, we're going, "What do you want pictures?" This photographer comes to the house and poses my parents at you know how everybody has the dining room that no one uses, that we have that one, and sat them in there and had them put plates in front of them and go,
empty plates.
You know, where is it? And then this guy just did a full-on photo shoot, took some pictures out in front of the hat, like the whole thing. And then published, and we did not know it'd be the front page. Tells you it was a slow news day right there. And we've gotten so many messages from friends and offers of pie. More importantly, offers of pie.
Yeah.
And someone dropped one off. A guy who owns a pie place dropped one off. Yeah. So now I'm hoping that will be the thing that occurs for the rest of our lives, is people just keep bringing us pie. I feel like we've made it.
Mind you, a day later, Omicron was the story of the day.
Yeah. So had it been the next day, no Alice Maltin on the cover. No. But because it was the right timing, everyone got to see Alice Maltin's name in lights. What more could you ask for, my friends? What more could you possibly ask for? I'm going to make you sit up.
Yes,
because I'm determined.
Quite properly.
There you go.
You can remind me that
this is what I have to keep doing with this one.
My posture is terrible.
It is terrible, but we love you anyway. Yeah, exactly. Rachel says team pie. That's how I feel, man. Chris Lott, our beloved Chris Lott, says, "Leonard, I know I'm way behind on this one, but I just started Hooked on Hollywood today. And then I'll start your new book. Hope you and Jesse and the whole family are having a wonderful holiday season, and best wishes for a happy 2022.
Well, we send you very similar wishes back.
Yes. And I hope that TCM is still able to go on and that we'll be able to see you. Fingers crossed on that one.
That's TCM Classic Film Festival.
Yes, the TCM Classic Film Festival. Sorry. Yes, the TCM Classic
which is
Film
late
Festival.
Enough in the spring that we are
Fingers
hopeful
crossed.
it will not be waylaid.
Yeah. Samuel says, "I saw you lecture at Indiana University in 1975 or 76 and briefly met you then at the Student Union, but I already had your books before then."
It was 1975. How do I know that? It was a week before I got married.
Well, there you go.
And it was my first booking. I just signed with New Line Lecture Bureau.
Yeah.
A division of New Line Cinema. And there's a whole story that goes with it, which I won't tell now, some other time. But that's how I know when. Well, nice to see you again after all these years.
Very funny. Teresa says, "Happy holidays, Maltins, and welcome Daisy from Australia." Thank you so much. It is a nice, I can't believe that we're about to hit 2022. My God, Where does the time go? Michael says, "Leonard, I got your new book for Christmas and I'm loving it. Can relate to a lot of your early stories. Have you ever met Patsy Kelly? And if so, did you ask her about Thelma Todd?"
Yes, I was lucky enough to meet Patsy Kelly when she was on Broadway in the revival of the musical No No Nanette with our old friend Ruby Keeler. And I interviewed her for Film Fan Monthly. And that interview still survives in a book called The Real Stars.
I love it.
Check your local listing.
What is your favorite movie of the time? Do you mean all time or just right now? All time, his answer permanently is
Casablanca.
Currently, like what would you say is your favorite movie you watched this year?
Licorice Pizza, maybe, or Nightmare Alley. I'm still working on that.
That's okay. Thoughts on Lost Daughter? Did you see it?
Yeah.
And
a very intriguing movie. Very densely plotted. Great performance by Olivia Colman. That's not news. Yeah. She's always great. Yeah. And an impressive directorial debut for Maggie Gyllenhaal. So I did like the movie.
There you go.
But I'm not sure I understood all of it.
Then Macbeth you haven't seen.
No.
Macbeth you've not seen yet. And sorry, going back. And Parallel Mothers you guys just watched.
We just watched, and I just gave you a review to post.
Yeah.
Because it opens this weekend.
Yep.
I'm a fan of Pedro Almodovar's work. But not every film hits the bullseye. This one does.
Yeah. Now, what you and Mommy both said, because they watched it together, was that it felt a bit different because we currently have a baby in the house.
Yeah.
A small baby.
And the plot, without going into much detail, it's about two women. Penelope Cruz plays a Madrid-based photographer, and she finds herself sharing a hospital room temporarily with a considerably younger woman who's called an adolescent, and their lives intertwine, and it's very good.
And everyone has, I mean, obviously Penelope Cruz is there. A lot of folks are talking about her and giving her awards and whatnot, including LAFCA. LAFCA, the LA Film Critics, gave her Best Actress this year.
She's really good. And how lucky to have Pedro Almodovar writing parts for you, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, not too shabby, you know. Kevin Maynard says, "I can't believe you have a baby, Jesse. I remember holding you as a baby. That was last year, right? Also, did you ever watch Palm Springs on Hulu? Watched recently and loved." Well, we'll start with the first part. Yes, I was a baby last year. It's all recent. How old was Kevin when you met him?
Young.
Or were you
10?
Jeez.
I'm guessing.
Gee whiz. That's wild. I hope your mom is feeling better, Kevin. I really, really do. And we always miss your dad.
Kevin's parents lived in Teaneck, New Jersey, and blazed a trail for us as expatriates moving here to Los Angeles. So they did the move first.
Yeah.
And we followed.
And you and his dad were very close for a very long time.
Yes, indeed.
As for Palm Springs, yeah, we did watch it. I watched it when it came out. We know the filmmaker because his parents are two of the biggest sponsors of the Santa Barbara Film Festival. And they are the Barbacoa family. They're very generous. And so his mother had been telling me about this new film that was going to be at Sundance. She was so proud of him. And then we got to watch it. I didn't love it, but I liked it.
Same.
Yeah. I didn't love it. I think that part of why at the time when it came out, so many people loved it was just because we were all excited to have entertainment.
Yeah.
You know, it was really good timing for that purpose, but I'm glad you loved it. It's it's not great, but it's good. I liked it. What about the Walt Disney animation movies that came out this year?
All right. I have to do a mea culpa now. I'm behind. In fact, I didn't vote for animated film with the LA Film Critics because I just haven't seen so many key movies. I've not yet seen Encanto.
Yeah.
Or Raya and the Three, whatever's. Or Sing 2,
Yeah.
Or what was the other one that Lin-Manuel Miranda did?
Lord. It's that one with the singing.
Anyway, over the holidays, I hope to be doing some catch-up
what
work.
always happens, especially in the month of December, and because screenings are not happening as much at the moment, is you suddenly realize you have to watch 87 things. And you end up Vivo, thank you.
Thank you.
That's the Lin-Manuel. And you sort of just kind of cram. And then this quiet time happens. And, as Jews, we never did Christmas. So this was really quiet for us. It's only since I've been married that we started doing anything for Christmas. And then now, of course, because the baby's here, we'll probably do a bit more with it. But yeah, normally we just sit and watch movies and enjoy the fact that we aren't getting work emails for a few days, which is always very pleasant. Hello, Maltin family. Hello, Robert. All is well. Sorry. I hope all is well. Leonard, what did you think of Belfast?
I liked Belfast.
Yeah.
I thought it's a very likable movie. I was surprised that it was as light-hearted as it is. It's not the best adjective to describe the movie, but I expected more weight. I expected to deal more with the troubles, and the bombings and the effect of all that violence on a family.
We liked it. My mom, it really affected my mom. My dad, my husband, and myself, we all liked but did not love it. And that was sort of of course it's right now it's the one that everybody is sort of losing their minds over in terms of pushing it. And man, are they pushing it for awards. Man, are they pushing it for awards. They really, really are. Again, tis that season around here. We just got actually, it's meant to look like a handwritten note from
Kenneth Branagh.
Kenneth Branagh, thank you. I'm going to keep blaming pregnancy brain at the moment. Lack of sleep with baby, because names and words just don't happen. But it looks like a handwritten letter basically saying, I hope that you love this movie and all this stuff. And it almost looks like it's handwritten, except for the part where it's absolutely printed. But God, they're just pushing it to say tis the season around here for everybody to sort of go, we'd like an award. Hello, we'd like an award. I just saw Spencer. I don't get the acclaim. It was painfully boring. Am I missing something?
No, you're nailing it on the head.
That is exactly. We really did not like that movie.
Boring.
So boring. So boring.
Also boring.
So boring, and then completely inaccurate, which confused me. That I have to say, that's the weirdest part to me, is that. Yes, this weekend probably happened in real life, but none of the events in it are real. And so you sort of wonder, like, why did you make this whole movie about Diana and you didn't actually use something that happened? You just made up afterwards. When I was looking at watching interviews with both Kristen Stewart and the director, and they were just talking about how the director says, this is what I thought it would be like. I was like, so you wrote your fantasy of this horrible weekend that Diana had, and I had to sit through it? So yeah, we agree. It is Jockey all over again. Very boring. That is considered the same director. Yeah, I like Jockey. I didn't mind Jockey as much. This I truly. Oh yeah, we were not fans. Kenneth Branagh's movies are never as great as he thinks. Not wrong, Victoria. Hilarious. No, he does. He has a very solid ego. That's for sure. He is. I mean, look, he is a good filmmaker, and he is a good storyteller,
and a charming man.
Very charming, but also, I get that. How much of the stuff was even true? No, literally, Nick. In Spencer, other than the fact that Christmas is a thing, and that they did go to that location, that's about the extent of the true. Everything else. I watched Coda recently, and it's my favorite so far. What did you think? Greetings from Greece, Jesse and Leonard. Well, hello. Well,
greetings back to you in Greece.
We have not been in a long time, and man, is that an amazing place. I really hope to go back in the not too distant future.
And Coda is a lovely film.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't being mentioned enough.
Yeah.
At this year-end tally time, and I think it's just a lovely film.
Yeah. Again, always interesting what stuff people are interested in and what they just aren't. Let me ask you guys, who intends on watching the film The Tender Bar? I ask because we posted 4 movie reviews, and of them, that's the one that people just don't seem to care about, The Tender Bar.
Well, in fairness, it's in theaters, in a very limited number of theaters right now.
Yeah, but just even in general.
Then it will be going to Netflix.
Yeah.
Where it will reach its audience.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like people are really into it, which is a shame. Sorry, I probably missed this earlier, but what did y'all think of Dune? I haven't seen it. You liked it very much.
I liked it very much.
Yeah.
I think it's an excellent film, and one of the best science fiction films I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. And my husband, who read the book, he loved it. He really loved the film and looks forward to more. I haven't seen Spencer, but it's not unheard of for plays and novels and things to be fictitious riffs on historical events. Yeah, it's not that. It's not like it's an unheard of thing. It's that it's such a miserable movie in terms of what goes on, that to me is the issue, is that it's such a sad situation, and you just sort of go, why do this, when you could have just told the real story, which is also really interesting and depressing. Cabot claims that Veronica Lake was drunk when she appeared with you on his show. True? ?
True question mark. He told me, I had been chatting with her backstage, and she was very sweet. He assessed her behavior as being tipsy. And when I later learned that she was in the early stages of what I think now we would call Alzheimer's, perhaps dementia.
You realize it might have just been that.
Yeah, it might have just been that.
Interesting.
That's what happened to Rita Hayworth.
Yeah.
Is people thought she was drunk. Her behavior became erratic at public appearances. And it turned out that, she was headed in a sad direction.
Yeah. Yeah. Leonard, I'd like to see them turn Scarface, the De Palma Pacino version, into a musical. What do you think?
Well, if you'd like it, then why don't you make it happen?
You should call them on the phone.
Why don't you make that happen?
We have this idea.
And I will sign a piece of paper right now saying I don't care to see it.
Yeah.
But no offense.
He says he wanted to make us both laugh. I mean, I like to picture in my mind Pacino singing and dancing. I think it would. He'd love it.
There's a new musical that just opened on Broadway that sounds equally as strange, if not more so. I've been reading about it for the past year, called Flying Over Sunset.
Yeah.
And it's about 3 famous people and their experiences with LSD.
Yeah.
One of them, Cary Grant. And I don't know.
Someone thought that was a good idea.
Someone did. They got it on stage.
Did you ever interview Hume Cronin and Jessica Tandy?
Sorry to say, I did not. I met them for the length of a hello. Excuse me. To be more precise, you met them.
I met them.
In the elevator at the Wyndham Hotel
well.
on West 58th Street, no longer there, not the chain, but the individual hotel, Wyndham, where they lived, where they had an apartment. And mommy wheeled you onto the elevator in your stroller. And Mr. Cronin said, "Well, hello, little girl." But you don't remember that.
I don't. I wish I did. I wish I did. Yes, I met a lot of people when I was really young.
Yeah.
We gotta say blessed. I was blessed many times by some of those folks. Nick wants to know, what did you think of this year's inductees for the Library of Congress National Film Registry?
I thought they were pretty good. I was discouraged that there wasn't more representation from mainstream Hollywood, 1920s, 30s, and 40s, silent and sound. I wouldn't quarrel with any of the ones that they chose. They chose a lot of newer films, past 20 years, and some rarities from the early days. But I thought it was just a little bit of an imbalance.
Yeah. Nick agrees with you. I shouldn't say agrees, say so I noticed, he says. Happy holidays from Prague. Hello. Just want to say how much your film guides have meant to me and my family since 1978, when my brother gave me, then a junior high student and nascent film buff, my first one as a birthday present. Thank you. That's so cool.
Oh, that means so much to me.
That's so cool.
You don't know how much that means to me. I used to say that there's a bit of blood on every page.
Yeah, right. That's slightly terrifying, but also probably accurate. That's so cool. Thank you for sharing that. Ken says, any favorite movies to watch on New Year's Eve?
Well, not New Year's Eve, not Gary Marshall's New Year's Eve.
Well, no, nobody needs to watch
and
that.
No disrespect to the late, great Gary Marshall.
Yes.
But this was not the high point of his filmmaking career.
Yeah.
Well, Holiday is a good one because that has a New Year's Eve scene in it. And Holiday Inn, which is now politically incorrect because of a blackface number, does have a charming little song by Irving Berlin called Let's Start the New Year Right, sung by Bing Crosby. So if you want to just fast forward to that song, that will relieve any issues.
Victoria's mentioning When Harry Met Sally. A lot of people say that. A lot of people bring up When Harry Met Sally.
My wife would tell you it's repeat performance with Louis Hayward and Joan Leslie.
Yes.
And which is just coming out or about to come out in a special edition Blu-ray.
Though for us, like a lot of others, we've just got TCM on. And
I think they're doing their Thin Man marathon again.
Yep. But we were watching Shop Around the Corner the other night. So much good stuff like that. Really, I think anything that kind of brings you joy is a good way to start the year. That's how I look at it. So if it's a movie that makes you laugh or just something that makes you happy, then that's what you should be watching. Has there ever been any actors or actresses that you thought did not deserve to win leading or supporting? Yeah, of course.
Well, some very talented actors and actresses, I think, have been rewarded for the wrong films.
Yeah.
That's practically a trope if you go through Oscar history.
Yeah.
Al Pacino was nominated, I believe, 7 times. 7 times. Before winning for what I think is his worst performance, one of his worst performances in
Devils.
No.
Telling you, we're both worthless. Worthless? Gee whiz.
You all know the one I mean, where he played Hua, the Marine.
That movie with the people in it. Scent of a Woman.
Scent of a Woman. Thank you. That's not the film that you identify with Al Pacino.
Yes.
When this is a guy who appeared in the Godfather movies and the Dog Day Afternoon, and Serpico, and so many other great. Even I'm not a great fan. Even Scarface.
Yeah.
These are all indelibly connected to him.
Yeah.
But Paul Newman also nominated, I think, 7 times, and he won it for The Color of Money, the follow-up to The Hustler that he made with Tom Cruise. And of course he's good. He was always good. And but that's not the film.
That's not the one you'd think of.
Yeah.
Frank says that Witness for the Prosecution was on last night, and it truly is an underrated film. So good. It's so good. I think that's more it. It's not often that you look and think someone isn't deserving of praise, but sometimes you're sort of going, this wins an. If you ask my mother, it's anything Lady Gaga does, which I'll be honest with you, don't necessarily disagree. But sometimes it's just people get swept up in something, and that's fine. I don't really, again, when it comes to awards and stuff, I don't really care. In the sense that I feel like, I feel like good actors and actresses, a lot of them will never be rewarded the way they should be.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it just takes a really long time. Like Sam Rockwell, one of the best actors working today. It took a long time before people really noticed him.
Yeah.
And understood how valuable he was, and he started winning awards. So if you're only doing it for the awards, then this probably isn't the job for you. Victoria says Shirley MacLaine should have won for Some Came Running. Yeah, again, there's a lot of performances that didn't necessarily that didn't get attention that should have, or some version of that. I think Renee Zellweger was the worst. She never captured any of Judy Garland's appeal. I hated her as Judy Garland. I really hated her as Judy Garland, so I agree with you.
I didn't hate her as Judy Garland, but I thought it was a poor decision to have her use her own singing voice.
But even then, they didn't.
Well,
they doctored her voice. That's a whole other conversation.
But truly, if you're playing Judy Garland,
just
a musical performer, and you don't use the real tracks of Judy Garland, which are incomparable.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. No. Lady Gaga's albums with Tony Bennett are good. Yeah, no. Nothing. She, by all means, keep making music. Just stay off my screen. No, you know what? She's really good in the American Horror Story stuff. I just don't like watching her do anything at all else. 1 second. Given the poor box office of West Side Story, do you think Mr. Spielberg is at a point in his career similar to where Hitchcock and David Lean were at in the late 60s, early 70s?
No, because I can't accept the idea of Steven Spielberg as a senior citizen.
Yeah, he isn't.
He's too in touch. He's too contemporary.
Yeah, I think it's just, he's at a point in his career where he makes what he wants to make.
Yeah. And he always has this choice of like 3 or 4 or 5.
Yeah. So I think
projects.
it's just going to depend on what he makes. If he makes something that is universally appealing, then people will go. West Side Story is not going to be universally appealing because there are a lot of people who don't like musicals and won't go. Even if people love it, they just won't go. And then I think add to that the pandemic and everything else, and it is what it is. So I don't know. I don't think that poor Spielberg needs us to worry about him just yet. 1 second. Do you have a favorite Disney animated film in the Disney Renaissance era?
In the Disney Renaissance era? That's a good question. Well, I think my favorite film of that period that doesn't get the recognition it deserves, Hercules.
One of my favorites of all time.
I
know Hercules, it backwards and forwards.
I just know it forwards. And I think Hercules is terrific. And at the time, it suffered, its reputation suffered because it wasn't the sensational box office breaking hit that The Lion King had been.
Yeah.
And so it only suffered in comparison.
Yeah.
To the box office take.
But now it's so popular, and obviously anybody around my age, especially, we know it, we love it. So I mean, thankfully, I think it's lived a nice life after the fact. But God, I love that. I really, really, really love that. Second, I want to miss your questions. That's it. What did you think of Ready Player One? You liked it.
I kind of liked it.
Yeah, we all liked it. Thought it was good. I enjoyed it for the most part. I've watched it when it's on TV. I'll watch it at home. Yeah.
That was not the work of somebody out of touch.
Yeah, no. It was really good, I think. And again, my husband read the book, knows it really well, and he really enjoyed it. So yeah, it's a good one. Thoughts on Nightmare Alley remake? So it's not actually a remake. It is a how does he describe it?
Well,
because they wrote their own screenplay based on the book. So it's not a remake of the film. It's another story coming off of the book.
Yeah.
So it's not really a remake. And you liked it very much.
Yeah, I did. I liked it a lot.
I'll be honest. I didn't love the film. I got kind of bored at a certain point. But there's so much good stuff in it, and it's beautiful, of course. And Guillermo del Toro is an amazing director and an amazing person, actually. Beyond that, why do we keep getting COVID/doom and gloom film? I don't want to see that in my films. I want to escape. I think
that's one reason that Spider-Man just made $1 billion.
Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed, but it would appear that a lot of movies that were along those lines did not do well. And I think they realized pretty quickly that nobody wanted to see those movies. Because, like you, we want escapism. And frankly, because we're all still living in it. It's not like, 10 years later where let's look back. It's now. What do I need with more, more on the pandemic? It's every day. That's not like a fun time, I don't think, for anybody. Jim Batts says, much holiday happiness to you. Now that 2021 is coming to a close, have you heard about any upcoming 2022 films that pique your interest?
No. And that's not because there aren't films coming up to pique my interest.
Yes.
It's because I tend not to read those forecast stories.
Yeah, frankly, you have so many movies that you have to look at as they're happening. It's tough to kind of jump ahead. I'm trying to think. I don't even know what's coming out. I'll be honest with you. I don't even know what's coming out. There's something I know that I've talked to my husband about, and I can't even remember. It's all a blur. Is there a movie that you will not watch on television that must be seen on a big screen?
Yes. When I was a kid, I didn't go to see any of those big biblical epics. Ben-Hur, King of Kings, stuff like that. And then when I got older and wanted to check them out, I only wanted to see them, the way they were meant to be seen, widescreen, big screen. And so it's taken me years to check off each one.
Yeah.
And I still haven't seen one or two, but I won't tell you which ones.
No, I mean, I think you always want to see them on a big screen.
Yeah.
It's just not always an option.
You were kind of blown away by the chariot race from Ben-Hur.
Well, who wouldn't?
When I did that widescreen show at the TCM Film
It's overwhelming.
Festival.
That scene is overwhelming. It still is. And
no computers.
No, it's really intense and upsetting to a degree because I'm an animal lover. So watching the horses, it's a lot. It's still a lot. It's an incredible thing that they've shot. Is there a director who wants you to make a musical film? Do you mean is there a director that we'd like to see make a musical? I'd like to see Guillermo del Toro make a musical. I'd watch his musical in a heartbeat. I would love to know where that's going. Close Encounters needs to be seen on the big screen.
Yes, I would agree.
Yeah.
And I saw that at the late lamented Ziegfeld Theater in Manhattan. Wonderful way to see that film.
See, again, we're very lucky because we live in LA and there are so many venues that show older movies, that they do nights, and not even necessarily older as in, the 50s, 60s, 70s. Sometimes it's just seeing a movie from the 80s, even just getting to see it on a big screen is a lot of fun. And again, seeing it with an audience that's excited about it, that's always nice. Victoria's saying that Wyler doesn't get enough credit today. Yeah.
Well, I don't know that you can call him neglected. He won so many Oscars, and his films, like Best Years of Our Lives in particular, is so present. It's shown so often under so many different umbrellas and Ben-Hur still, has all
but it's true. William Wyler is not a name that is as well known as some others to young people.
Deserves to be better known.
Yeah.
Altogether. Yeah. When the TCM Classic Film Festival occurs in spring of this coming year, and they're going to hand me an award, they asked me what I wanted to screen the night of my award, and I said, Counselor at Law, starring John Barrymore and directed by William Wyler. So if that all comes to pass, you'll have a chance to see, if you come here, if you live here, you'll have a chance to see a great movie. Wyler's first sort of A picture. He'd been doing, A- and B+ pictures for his uncle, Carl Laemmle.
That's wild. Yeah, Casablanca on the big screen is wonderful. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Again, I think there are a lot of these movies that are so beautiful. And you get something like Casablanca, which is just visually a really beautiful film,
Hmm.
and getting to see it big and getting to see those details big is exciting. We really do get used to watching stuff on small screens. So when you see something on a big screen again, you sort of go, oh my God, I forgot how great this is. My favorite Wyler films are Good Fairy, these three, Dodsworth, and The Letter.
Those are four great movies. You've named four really great movies. The Good Fairy, written by Preston Sturges, just a charming, witty film. Uh, Dodsworth, celebrated a lot of late because the Academy, I think, just did a major restoration on that, and it's a very mature adult movie. All the more so for having been made in a Hollywood studio in 1936.
Mm.
And
Do you ever get optimistic by any young people with film knowledge? Of course.
sure, every time.
Of course. It's always exciting when you meet someone younger who loves his stuff and wants to talk about it and gets excited. I think that's true for anybody in any field when you meet young people who are into it, because it lets you know that it's going to live on.
Right.
And if you don't do that, if you don't have those people, then what's to become of it? So it's very exciting. I did a big screen presentation of Close Encounters for my secret cinema program, and everyone enjoyed it. I'm sure
Yeah.
that they did. Now, what did you just pick up?
Well, I gave myself a gift a
Okay.
couple of weeks ago. I gave myself the gift of time to read a book that came out in 2008, but somehow or other, I never read it.
That's not a book. That's a doorstop.
It's
Look at the size of that thing.
Michael Sfrago's book on the great Victor Fleming, and that's a great, great still taken on the set of Red Dust, a wonderful 1932 movie, and you see him directing Clark Gable.
That is a great shot. Wow.
And Jean Harlow, and there's Mary Astor looking on.
Yeah.
And
wow.
It's an excellent. It's called Victor Fleming, an American Movie Master, and he makes a great, great case for putting Fleming in that on that pantheon. Mm-hmm. And yet he does talk about people who don't get recognition. This is a man who directed The Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind the same year. Now, admittedly, he did not direct every scene in each of those movies. Mm-hmm. They brought on other people to start when he wasn't ready, to finish when he had to leave. But Michael makes a very good case for the fact that the heart and soul of those two films rest inside Victor Fleming. Mm. And
is it true Fleming had a nervous breakdown on Gone with the Wind? Wouldn't you have had a nervous breakdown on Gone with the Wind?
Sort of, kind of. I don't know if it's literally that, but he was, he suffered for his art. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But he lived such an interesting life. He was an aviator. He started as a cameraman with Douglas Fairbanks in the teens. And he made great movies, and he got the best out of his actors. And someone mentioned Captain's Courageous before, one of my all-time favorite movies, and one of Spencer Tracy's greatest performances. Mike says that Tracy and Gable were never better than they were in the movies when they were directed by Victor Fleming.
That's interesting.
And it's also said by more than one witness, survivor, that he was Rhett Butler.
Yeah.
Fleming, who was a very dashing, as you can see, a very dashing man, sort of encompassed all the qualities that you associated with those actors and their on-screen persona. Anyway, it's a 2008 book, and I never got to read it until now. And I gave myself a great year-end present, so I had to pass that along to you guys.
You finished it?
Yeah, finished it last night.
Yeah. I love that.
I sent Mike a note telling him how much I liked it.
Kyle says, watched Too Late for Tears on TCM the other day. A terrific film noir.
Oh, with Dan Duryea? Mm-hmm.
Do you like that one? Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I love showing stuff from the silent film era for collectibles because it means it has survived, in some cases, more than 100 years.
Yeah.
How did that happen? 100 years. And also that there was interest in a marketplace for all this. This is a lovely fabric iron. Today we call them an iron-on patch, but this had to be sewn on.
So we used to, my dad wore a lot of polo shirts, and what we would do is put our own patches on them. And people would always come up and they'd say, where did you get that shirt? And we go, they don't make these things. You dropped them.
Oh.
I said, they don't make these kinds of things. You have to do it yourself. And he had all kinds of shirts with different kinds of patches on it. And it always made people smile, which we love. Then you've got a whole bunch of these.
These are Christmas gift.
Yes.
From a friend. And I have a bunch of these. These are felt pennants, collectible felt pennants of silent movie stars. And my friend somehow intuited that I didn't have these particular ones in my collection. I have Charlie Chaplin, I have Mary Pickford, but I didn't have Anita Stewart, who was promoted for stardom by a young Louis B. Mayer. I think he was the first star that he was associated with. This is Sidney Drew, who worked with his wife in a series of domestic comedies billed as Mr. and Mrs. Sidney Drew.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen today, would it? This is Francis X. Bushman. Speaking
That's
of Ben-Hur.
That's a solid name.
Yeah. Well, Francis X is the subject of a new documentary that just aired on TCN and done by a fellow I know named Lon Davis, who did a very good job, a lot of good research and good film clips. He lived long enough to make a guest appearance in the Adam West Batman show.
There you go.
So from silent Ben-Hur to Batman, it's a pretty good range. This is Florence Lawrence, often referred to as the first movie star.
Florence Lawrence.
It rhymes.
It do.
And then proof that nepotism begins at home.
Yep.
Lottie Pickford. Mary's sister.
Was she any good?
I don't think so.
Well, there you go.
But I once saw at the Museum of Modern Art in New York on display, because they have all of D.W. Griffith's papers.
Yeah.
They showed under glass, of course, and with a lot of security, the incorporation papers of United Artists. Now, if you know your history, United Artists was formed by Charlie Chaplin, Douglas Fairbanks, Mary Pickford, and D.W. Griffith, arguably the four most popular and powerful people in the movie world. But Mary Pickford had to sign Mary Pickford or Gladys Smith, a.k.a. Mary Pickford. She had not changed her name legally from Gladys Smith. And so...
Did she ever legally?
I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. Friends of mine are probably storming the Bastille of their computer screens right now saying, of course she... Anyway, I don't know if she ever did.
Well, hey, if John Wayne didn't, you know...
Yeah, which you recently read.
We found out. We found out from a friend. I don't remember who we were with, but we were talking about that, and they told us that never changed his name. It's your friend who wrote the biography.
Scott Iman?
Yeah, Scott told us. That's what it was. Scott Iman told us that. Florence Lawrence sounds like she should have been a stewardess in Airplane. I go with that. I'll go with that. So funny. Frank says, believe it or not, right now I'm at Barnes & Noble and I'm picking up a copy of your book. Thank you, Frank. We appreciate it very much.
Just made my day. Just made my day.
Man. first of all, just hooray for bookstores that exist.
Yes.
I'm always thrilled when I see a bookstore.
Yes, gosh, and Barnes and Noble has been very good to me.
Yeah, yep. Well, that's when I took there's a place here called the Americana, sort of a fake high street, and took was there with my mother-in-law and didn't have time to go into the bookstore, but it was busy and it just made me happy to see so many people there.
Yeah.
Jesse, has the movie you worked on come out yet? My friend's movie, Wrong Reasons, that I worked on last year, it has been making its way around some film festivals. I don't know when they're going to release it. Yeah, it's called Wrong Reasons. It's their first film. I worked on it very happily because, you help your friends, you do whatever they need. What I'm really waiting for is my friend did an incredible documentary on Michael Parks, and that will hopefully come out in the not too distant future because it's excellent. And I learned so much because I didn't know a lot about him. A lot of people don't know a lot about him, but he's a fascinating guy. So yeah, fingers crossed that happens soon. The store has been very good to Criterion too. Yeah. As I say, God bless any bookstore that's still standing right now. Support them. Yep. They need you.
Yep.
They need you big time.
I had fallen behind posting new movie reviews on my website, and we are starting to make up for lost time. And we posted 4. There's 2 more in the oven.
Yep.
And 1 more ready to go for next week. That's The Jockey, which opens on December 29.
Okay.
Starring Clifton Collins Jr. And it's played film festivals and won prizes, so it's no big deal for me to say it's really good. It's not letting the cat out of the bag.
Yeah, and Clifton is finally getting the attention. He's one of those actors that has been around forever, and just a really dedicated, really lovely man. And this film has gotten a lot of attention for him. Again, it's called The Jockey, and I hope that more people see it and come to understand just how talented he is.
Yeah,
because he's in everything. He's in Nightmare Alley. He's in Nightmare Alley right now. Yeah, he's wonderful guy. Do you have notes? Do you have anything else you wanted to share?
Well, yes. To finish the thought about posting more movie reviews.
Yeah.
We will be continuing to do that all through the next week toward the new year to try to get caught up as best we can. Some of the films that are now playing in theaters that are Netflix movies have not yet been reviewed by the New York Times.
Yeah.
Because it seems the New York Times believes that review is irrelevant until such time as its readers can access the film.
Yeah.
So that means Lost Daughter, Power of the Dog, The Hand of God, Don't Look Up, haven't been reviewed yet by them. And I'm going to be reviewing several, if not all, of those.
He's telling me because I post all the reviews near the website. So this is him letting me know that he's going to be sending me more stuff to post.
Yeah.
Good. We like it. We like when there's new stuff up on the website. It's been such a crazy time for absolutely everyone. And normally...
Well, this is a this is a woman who just
You
gave
can call
birth.
me a girl. You're allowed to do that.
Okay.
You're my dad.
All right.
Well, no, you haven't written reviews lately, and finally has gotten time to do it, which makes me very happy.
The arrival of Daisy in our household has taken up much of our time and attention and energy.
Yeah. And you know what? That's okay. You saw Don't Look Up. Didn't your mom watch it? Yeah. Nick says, just saw Don't Look Up, a rather cynical film. Did you like it?
I did.
Okay.
I know that not everybody has liked it. It's gotten very divided reaction.
It's always interesting when people are on opposite ends. Even reading about, looking at Rotten Tomatoes and seeing what people thought about Matrix, it's such a mix. And it's one of the rare times that the critic number and the audience number is almost the same. It was 60-something% for both. And that doesn't happen very often, where people agree all the way in that sense. So I'm intrigued. Hello from Puerto Rico. Hello, Luis.
Hello.
And I'm sure Puerto Rico is gorgeous this time of year. I had fun with Don't Look Up. Not one of the best movies of the year, but it was fun watching these actors give crazy performances.
Yeah.
I agree. And sometimes that's it. It's just, again, not everything has to be high art. Some things can just be entertaining or interesting or a slice of life. Or for the actors, it can just be something fun that they want to do.
Yeah.
You get it. Especially, that group of people, they can choose what they want, and why not? Is what I figure. Let me just, at this one place I did not check for your question, so I just want to make sure. Yes, the last one we'll do is Hunter says, what's your take on the colorization of black and white films?
Oh, I think I'm very glad that has pretty well been mothballed. Every now and then, they'll still past 2 years they colorized a couple of Dick Van Dyke Show episodes, a couple of I Love Lucy episodes. I don't think that's a great cultural crime.
Yeah.
If it gets 10 more people to watch than would have otherwise, okay.
Yeah.
I don't like colorization. I don't believe in the need for colorization.
No. There's no point. I don't understand what the point of it would be.
The point is always that they say, and I know it's not untrue, that some young people won't watch black and white movies.
I know that, but that's not a good enough reason.
It's not.
What you should do is fix the people, not the films.
There you are.
You should tell people.
And they won't look at Ansel Adams photographs. So let's color them in.
This is why we can't have nice things. Man, oh man. Robin says some Metropolis with sound, voices, and color. It was terrific. No, I'm sure. I'm sure.
No, that was. You mean the Giorgio Moroder version? I found that interesting as an experiment.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's one thing if you're doing something that's sort of for artistic purposes. It's something else if it's just sort of people won't watch this because it's dark. That's not good enough to me. What is next Sunday the 1st? I don't even know.
No, next Sunday is the 2nd.
Well, there you go. Then we will see you on the 2nd.
We'll see you early in the new year.
Yes, I can't believe it's the new year. Everybody, please be safe. Take good care of each other. I know that all of this stuff going on with Omicron is very scary. Just deep breaths. As always, do what makes you feel safe. If you don't want to go out, you don't have to go out. Reach out to friends. If you're feeling lonely, especially, please reach out to friends, because I know that everything we've all just lived through has been insane, but I know that it can be very difficult right now with it being the holidays to be away from friends and family. And
I'm not being flippant when I say watch a good movie.
Yeah.
It works for me. Always has.
Yep. So please take care, and we will see you next Sunday. We'll see you next year. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.